Imagine a man so massive, so powerful, and so larger than life, that even the bodybuilding world, a place already filled with freaks of nature, had to stop, stare, and question if what they were seeing was even real. That man was Victor Richards. A name spoken with awe, with mystery, and with a sense of what if. Because while others were chasing trophies, Richards was rewriting the very definition of size, power, and presence. Born in Nigeria and raised in the United States, Victor wasn't just another athlete trying to find his place in bodybuilding. He was a phenomenon. From a young age, he stood out as a genetic powerhouse. A man built with a frame that looked engineered to carry mountains of muscle. By the time most teens were learning the basics of training, Victor was already transforming into something extraordinary. With proportions that didn't just turn heads, they dropped jaws. At his peak, Victor Richards carried around 315 pounds of raw muscle on a physique that looked both impossibly huge and shockingly aesthetic. Imagine the sheer intimidation of a man with the mass of a super heavyweight, yet the flow and symmetry of a seasoned pro. He wasn't just big, he was freakishly, unbelievably, almost superhumanly big. Bodybuilding magazines couldn't get enough of him, splashing his larger-than-life presence across their covers and leaving fans wondering, is this man the future of bodybuilding? But here's the twist. The reason Victor Richards' story became legendary isn't just because of his size. It's because he never competed seriously in the IFBB. While most bodybuilders broke their backs to qualify for Mr. Olympia, Victor stood apart, almost like a mythical creature, choosing not to chase titles, but to build his own legacy. That decision created a storm of speculation. Fans argued endlessly. If Victor Richards had stepped on the Olympia stage, would he have crushed everyone? Some swore he would have destroyed legends like Dorian Yates, while others said he was simply too much of a wild card to predict. And that's exactly what made Victor unforgettable. The mystery. He wasn't tied down by competition results or stage politics. He lived on his own terms, trained like a beast. He carried a physique that looked like it was sculpted by the gods of iron themselves. He became a living what-if scenario. A giant shadow hanging over bodybuilding's golden era. Let's put this in perspective. In an age before mass monsters like Ronnie Coleman and Marcus Rule redefined size, Victor Richards was already walking around with dimensions that looked decades ahead of his time. His legs were tree trunks, his chest was a slab of stone, and his arms looked like they belonged on a comic book superhero. And remember, this was the late 80s and early 90s. He was pushing the boundaries of what human muscle could look like before the world was even ready for it. But Victor wasn't just about the weights. He was about philosophy, about individuality, about the belief that bodybuilding was more than just standing under bright lights and being judged. To him, the gym was a temple, and the body was a canvas. He trained to express power, discipline, and self-mastery, not just to win medals. And that mindset gave him an aura that no title could ever match. Even today, decades later, the name Victor Richards sparks heated conversations. He is called the uncrowned king, the forgotten mass monster, and even the phantom giant of bodybuilding. Why? Because he represents potential untapped, the dream of what could have been. Fans look at his photos and still wonder. What if Victor Richards had battled it out on the Olympia stage? Could he have changed bodybuilding forever? And perhaps that's the real power of his legacy. He didn't need a Sandow trophy to be remembered. His legend was built on sheer presence, unmatched size, and the mystery that surrounded him. While others fade into history after their careers end, Victor Richards continues to live on as one of the most fascinating enigmas in bodybuilding. In the end, Victor Richards is more than just a bodybuilder. He's a myth, a story whispered across generations of lifters, a symbol of untamed potential. He showed the world that sometimes being larger than life doesn't come from trophies or titles. It comes from the impact you leave on everyone who sees you. And Victor Richards, he left an impact that bodybuilding will never, ever forget.